Oops, I had to change my ways. Well, this got interesting. As I was putting the materials together for the final change lesson, it occurred to me that my own financial setup has left me vulnerable here. I had the basics, but I had a back door hanging wide open. Yes, I was violating one of my own policies, which means after several decades of using tabs, I myself had to change my ways. I couldn't in good conscience ask you to set up the way I was set up. And I couldn't ask you to do something that I wasn't doing. But I also found that I didn't want to do what I was going to ask you to do. And in my books, that's just wrong. Let me explain how this happened. The development of tabs was a very slow progression of my own finances over about 15 years, now 25 years. As I slowly changed things, I apparently left this one area alone as it was working for me. That is, until now. I realized that to close that back door meant that I had to change. But I liked what I had. I've been using the setup for years. I'm used to it. I like it. But it must change. That back door is wide open. For about a week, I wrestled with several unappealing options. I wanted to stay within the guidelines of tabs and still have something that was easy to set up and use. I even tried reminding myself that I wasn't taught to think this way. I knew what I had to do, but something inside me just didn't like it. I kept thinking there had to be an acceptable compromise. It finally dawned on me. If I would slightly redefine a previous concept, I could use it to close my open door. This redefinition would still meet the spirit of the tabs criteria and meet my own criteria for ease of setup and use. For you, it means that tabs just got a little easier to have a complete setup. For me personally, I still had to take action and change the way I was doing things. And yes, I had to go to the bank. But now it felt like I was complying with what I teach. So you see, I don't just teach this stuff. I also live it. Now I'm ready to get into this next lesson. See you there. The final change. Remember, you're not taught to think this way, so they can make more money from your mistakes. Many of you may already be guessing at what's in this lesson, and you may be right. Yes, I think you should open a fourth checking account for your cars. Hear me out on this. You know a day is coming when you'll need another oil change, or new tires, or a battery, or brakes, or even a transmission. By having a separate account, you'll know how much you have set aside for those new tires. If you leave it in your original account, it's mixed in with other stuff and you're just guessing. Dividing it out gives you clarity on your vehicle expenses, your savings for those expenses, and your debts expenses. Yes, you could sign up for one of those car maintenance insurance things, but you know they're a business and they have employees to pay, and they also want to make a profit. That means that they have to collect more money than they pay out. And that means that some of your money goes into their pocket, not into your car repairs. So why not start your own free car maintenance program? I want you to start saving for those car repairs and pay cash so you don't pay interest on it. On your car's account, don't get any checks. Don't get any debit cards. This is where I messed up and had to change. Don't have this account linked to your daily living debit card. Don't get overdraft protection. You must learn some responsibility. Don't get any other screwy savings options like keep the change or roundup. Don't have the bank start any automated transfers to this account. If you have the bank start automatic transfers, you may not be able to change them yourself. Do make sure your current home login will access this account. So with no checks and no debit card, how do you get money out of this account? This is where I messed up by having a debit card and putting my whole car's account at risk. And with several $1,000s, so I could cover new tires and a transmission, it was a big risk that I had to stop. We get money out of this account only by transfer. We're going to slightly redefine your emergencies only credit card. I want you to use your emergencies only credit card also for car maintenance and repairs. This card is now your emergencies and cars maintenance and repairs credit card. And if it's from the same bank as your other accounts, you can pay it with an online transfer. For me, my emergencies card was at a different bank. I had to get a new card from the bank that had my car's account. And I'll cancel that other card later. Your banking should currently look like this. And when finished, your banking should look like this. By redefining the emergencies only credit card, you'll have only 2 credit cards instead of 3 credit cards. One credit card that you don't carry for your bills as defined on your budget bills page, and one credit card that you do carry for emergencies and now also for car maintenance and repairs. After all, some of those emergencies might be for a car breakdown that requires towing and repairs. My previous setup had me carrying 3 cards: a credit card for emergencies, a debit card for my daily living, and another debit card for my cars. This was my big no-no. I now only carry 2 cards: a credit card for emergencies and for car maintenance and repairs, and a debit card for daily living. If you have a non-car related emergency, use your emergency and cars credit card. The Cars page of the budget now also has a line for miscellaneous emergencies to help you save up for those unfortunate times. This Cars credit card is not for gas. That comes out of your daily living account. Car insurance comes out of your bills account. I do use this account to pay for inspections and registration, as those are car maintenance related expenses. After all this, your original checking account is now your income, savings, debts account. Debts are left with your savings so that a paid off debt becomes automatic savings. When you pay off a debt, add its payment to the savings page of the budget spreadsheet. With tabs, a paid off debt doesn't add anything to your daily living allowance. You automatically start saving the monthly payment that you were sending to the debt. Please try to resist the urge to increase your daily living transfers so you can spend that payment. Remember that your budget was your starting point, not your destination. If you have debt, then you're still trying to get control of where you are. You were living on that smaller allowance before the debt was paid. You should be able to live on it now. Leave that extra money in your income, savings, debt account. Someday will come when you need a chunk of cash, and you'll have it instead of having to borrow it on a credit card. If your savings grows enough, you can take some of it and put it into a real investment to help grow your future. Remember, you're not taught to think this way, so they can make more money from your mistakes. Before you run out and open your fourth checking account, please do the next lesson, some possible alterations. See you in the next lesson. Some possible alterations to your Cars account. There are some possible alterations you could use on your Cars account. First, since the Cars account is now only being used to pay the emergencies and Cars credit card, there could only be one withdrawal per month. This means that the Cars checking account could actually be a real savings account. The 6 withdrawal limit should not be an issue. That choice can be up to you. Just remember, there's that Federal Reserve law that limits the number of withdrawals per month from a savings account. Personally, I'm using a checking account, but that's because I was using a debit card with it. Now that I've had the credit card for several months, I'm considering changing to a savings account, only so I can collect some interest from the banker, however little that is. If you use a savings account for your Cars account, then this next option becomes much more difficult. Ask your bank before you open a savings account. If you have a car loan with automatic withdrawal payments, or maybe you want to have one in the next few years, you could move your car loan from the debts page and account to the Cars page and Cars account. Yes, make your car loan payments from the Cars account instead of the debts account. That way, when the car loan is paid off, if you keep your weekly transfer the same, the money that was going to payments will now automatically stay in the car's account, giving the car's account a great boost for any maintenance or repairs. On your budget, change the description from car loan to extra car maintenance. The car's account can also become a collection point for down payment money on the next car. If you wait long enough, you could even collect enough to pay cash for your next car. All of that money saved for a new car is another reason to not use a debit card with this account. You wouldn't want a thief to take your new car money. As a minimum, keep your current car for at least 2 years after the loan is paid. By having your money separated into a different account, you'll now know exactly how much you have saved for tires, for transmission, or even your next car. Don't forget to open your car's account, and once it's open, start your weekly automatic transfers from the original account. See you next week.